Hello and welcome into RedHawk Rewind. I'm Tim Carey.
And I'm Dave Meyer.
Exciting day today. We've got Emily Eterovich here. We're going to talk to her about a lot of different things, but one of them is a celebrity encounter story that you may not believe unless you actually listen to the end to hear. So there's the teaser. I don't know if you have a good celebrity encounter story. Like I remember once flying through the Orlando airport and all of a sudden like there's a 7-foot giant of a man like, oh, that's Shaquille O'Neal standing in my terminal. Like, do you have something like that? Because we're not going to top hers.
Wait, so Shaq was in the terminal
In
with
the
you?
airport, yeah.
Why? The dude's flying commercial?
I assume so, unless he was like trying to buy the airport. I don't know.
I mean, for me, obviously our job, right? We work with cool announcers like Mike Tirico or, guys that, they're all over the place, right? So, I've run into them, but I honestly, I've never just been walking through the airport and seen Shaquille O'Neal or anything like that.
Or you did and you just didn't realize it because it was somebody that was like 6'2" and not 7'2". I don't
That
know.
could
But
be.
that's the teaser. Make sure you stay tuned for that. We'll be right back with Emily. And welcome back to Red Hawk Rewind. We're joined by our special guest, Emily Eterovich, a senior pole vaulter on the track and field team. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Emily, I don't know if you realize, I have been excited for this all day. I just tell everybody first what you do here, your sport, your event that you compete in.
The one I just said?
Did you?
Yeah, I just, okay.
Oh,
He
Emily,
doesn't actually listen to
Emily,
me
let me
very
tell you.
often, but
when Tim talks, you'll get used to it. You just tune him out. But okay, fine.
and I know that he does that, but I was not going to let him get away with it. So anyway, please say what I just said.
Again, yeah.
Well, I'm Emily. I'm a senior here, and I'm a pole vaulter on the track team.
Okay, Tim, if you want to just put your feet up on the desk, I have a lot of questions about
Go right ahead.
a pole vault. Okay, how do you even figure that hey, I'm good at this pole vaulting? How does that
Yeah.
even start?
So I started gymnastics when I was 3 years old, and I did it all the way till I was 18, till I graduated high school. And somewhere along the way in middle school, I have 2 older sisters, and they told the high school coach, my younger sister does gymnastics. She's thinking about trying pole vault. You should tell her to come to our high school practices. And there's like one meet in middle school where you have where there's pole vault. And so I had the high school coach reach out to me, and he's like, we want to get you trying pole vault. And so I started in 7th grade. And so it basically had to do with my sisters and gymnastics and stuff. And they kind of go for the gymnasts, like when they're trying to find pole vaulters. And so, yeah, I started then in 7th grade. And I had to balance, both gymnastics and pole vault. And, I always thought it was just going to be gymnastics, and that's what I was going to do after high school and into college and stuff. But then there was that flip, I think, sophomore, junior year of high school, where I was like, no, I like pole vault, and I want to stick with this.
You notice all the gymnastic words in there? You talk about balance, talk about flip, you just kind of word after word. What's day one like as a middle schooler walking into and hey, I'm trying pole vault?
Yeah, I don't even really remember. I remember I got some of my friends to do it with me. So it was just funny. You're all just I'm running with a stick towards a hole with a mat in the back and just hoping for the best. And I remember you're supposed to jump off one leg. And I remember the first time I'm jumping off 2 legs and my feet are getting caught between the pole. I'm like, how am I supposed to do this? But I have really good coaches, and the gymnastics background definitely helped. And just having, my older sisters, one of my older sisters did it for a minute, so I'd kind of seen her. So yeah, it was weird, and you have to decide, am I going to be a righty or a lefty? And I was like, well, they both feel comfortable. I don't know. And so, in gymnastics, I twist this way. So I was like, well, I might as well, when I pole vault, then twist that way too. So I'm actually a lefty, which is rare. You're usually a righty when you pole vault. So
Are there any ambidextrous pole vaulters where people go up switch hitters in baseball and then just I'm just going to do it different ways, different times?
Yeah, so that's probably what I looked like in the beginning.
You're a gymnast, And I guess what kind of skill sets did gymnasts bring where that it fits into the pole vaulting?
Yeah. So, with with pole vault, you have to have a lot of upper body strength, and I think with gymnastics, that it gave me that upper body strength and that core strength, and also just like the having no fear, just like I think it gave myself my body, like how to control my body while I'm in the air. So gymnastics definitely helped. It gives you the strength and just like the self control.
What about the psychology side of it? I mean, you're talking to somebody that's
Yeah.
like afraid of heights, so like I'm not the right person to ask this question, but I saw like even on your LinkedIn, you were talking about being drawn to sports where you're like flying
Yeah.
through the air and the metaphors that involves. I mean, just kind of describe for us like how
Yeah.
you've landed there.
Yeah, I sometimes I'll like look back at videos that my parents took when we were like little kids, and I'm always the one that's just like flailing my body on the ground, doing somersaults. Like there's this one like specific video I could think of my sisters, like they're singing and I'm just in the background just like rolling on the ground, like flinging my body. And I think, and like my parents always said, like when I was in soccer, they're like, you just like to dive into the mud more than you actually like to play the game. And it's like I think I just have fun doing those types of things with my just flinging myself in the air. I don't even know how to describe it, but like sports that involve like objects, like round objects, I'm not, good at those. But when it comes to flinging myself in the air or something, I find it easier.
Do you remember the first time you actually got over the bar?
Yes, I remember it was in middle school and I cleared 7 feet, which most college men can high jump. That's not very high.
So how long is the pole when you're in 7th grade?
Um, you know, I want to say it's still about like 11 feet, but you don't hold. You hold lower on it.
So but you cleared it. I mean, what kind of reaction are you going over when you actually get over the bar?
I mean, at that time, at that age, I was just happy to be there, happy that I could do this cool event at this one meet. I think now, um, as you're coming down, you see the bar and you're just thinking in your head, please stay on, please stay on, please stay on. And I just love like, I don't know how to describe it, but whenever you like land on the pit on your back and you look up and it's still up there and you're like, yes, like, I don't know. Yeah, it's crazy. I don't even know whenever I'm pole vaulting or when I did gymnastics, like, I feel like it's just black. Like, I don't see anything, and then eventually I'm on my back and I'm like, oh, the bar stayed up.
When did you realize that track or pole vaulting might be something you'd do beyond high school?
I think, my freshman year of high school, I ended up having a really good season for a freshman. I qualified to regionals in high school. It goes, districts, regional, states. And I had qualified to regionals my freshman year, and I was like, kind of like surprised with myself, happy with myself. And then sophomore year is when like COVID happened and stuff, so I didn't have a season. And so I was like, this is my junior year. It's kind of when you start recruiting, looking, at some colleges. And I just, I, I went through a bit of like a back injury. And so that made it harder for me to do gymnastics and kind of made me more drawn to pole vault because it hurt less when I was pole vaulting than doing gymnastics. And, I kind of thought like, with this back injury, there's no way I can do gymnastics for 4 more years after college. And so with pole vault, I found myself enjoying it. I'd say I'd started to enjoy it more than going to gymnastics practice. And I think my junior year, I also had a really good year. That year I qualified and placed at states. And that's when I decided, I'm going to really look into doing this out after I graduate.
All right, walk us through it. You grab the pole. I have no idea how far you all run forever. I feel like with that thing in your hand, but
Yeah.
just walk us through how many steps, like your thought process when you
Yeah.
got to make sure that the pole gets where it needs to. Just
Yeah.
step by step.
There's kind of a lot that goes into it that I feel like some people don't know. Like there's all these different poles. There's different brands and each one has a weight and a flex number and a height. So, you know, if I say I'm on a 13-140, that means I'm
Oh
on a
yeah.
13 that means I'm on a 13-foot pole. That's for a 140-pound person, but I go on like I go like the higher the pound, like the stiffer the pole is. Um, I said 13-140 because that's my favorite pole, but and then there's like flex numbers too, so you could have both 13-140s, but one has a softer flex number and one has a stiffer flex number. So there's a lot that goes into it because I have this pole. Once I get comfortable on it and I'm like, I finally get used to it, it's like, oh, now you got to go up to a bigger stick. And then you're uncomfortable again. And then you're trying to get used to it again. So every time you get comfortable and you're like, oh, yeah, then it's time to move up to a bigger stick. And so it is a bit challenging because, it's always changing. And then, the bar's always getting higher. So you have to first decide what pole you're going to start on. So that's always kind of like my biggest thing. Like, that's what you decide in warm-ups, how your warm-ups went. Okay, I had a bit of a rough jump, so I'm going to start on a smaller pole. Or, if you had a better warm-up, then you go on a bigger pole. And so that's where you kind of start.
So there's a lot more to it than just running, screaming down the lane.
Yeah.
All right. So you've got the pole. You've picked out what you want. Now
Yeah.
you're running down the lane.
Uh.
What's going through your head?
So most people count when they run. I just can't multitask like that. So I don't count. But I think with like gymnastics, like the event vault, I don't count. I didn't count my steps when I vaulted in gymnastics. I just like knew where I was at. And so I think with that helped me with pole vault, and I don't need to count my steps. I just kind of know. And obviously the closer you get to the pit, you're dropping your pole. It's getting, and there's different angles. It should be at about like a 45-degree angle when you're at like your third to last step. There's like, I don't really think technical like that, and that might be part of the problem of some things. But I think with gymnastics, it gave me that like natural feel of like when to start dropping the pole. But yeah, the closer you get, you're gradually just dropping that pole for it to eventually get into, there's like a box. And then, it is a jumping event, but sometimes I forget, like, I still need to jump, And so I have to remind myself, like, I still have to actually jump. The pole can't just take me up there. And so you do jump off of, like, one leg. And I've had trouble with my arms before, too. You're supposed to keep your arms, like, straight, not bend them. So, there's a lot going through your head, and pole vaulters will sometimes have, like, cues before. Like, some might be, like, jump, row, invert. Like, like, there's, like, words that you have. So sometimes I think of, like, specific words that help me because it just goes by so fast, So you plant the pole, and then I just close my eyes and no. And
I'm fascinated. There's so much to it. All right, so you're.
I think I would be really good at this. I mean, outside
pole vaulting,
outside of not being able to run, not being able to jump, being afraid of heights, everything else that she just said, like, it sounds like right up my alley.
So I've been to a couple college meets, but not a ton. How high is the bar, like on your first run?
Well, so there's like another thing at meets. There's starting heights and stuff. Some meets, like, the lowest they'll start is 12 feet, so you have to start at 12 feet. I remember my freshman year, the lowest height was 11.6, and, like, that now I like, start at 12 feet, but at the time I was like, oh, my gosh, I have to start at 11.6, and, like, you're afraid you're going to no height but it's actually, I kind of like whenever you're kind of forced to start higher. So wait, what was the question?
Just So you answered it. Just how high is the bar?
Oh,
So
yeah.
I guess my follow-up question to that is though, it's 12 feet in the air. You're leaning over the bar. You're like pushing your pole away, right? So you're
Right.
landing. I don't. I'd probably pee my pants. I don't
Uh-huh.
know how you do that and stay calm and
Yeah.
think about all the things that you're going through.
Yeah. No, it's a lot of fun. And so yeah, each meet it sometimes progresses differently. Like sometimes they'll go up 6 inches, sometimes they go up 4 inches, or if you're the only one left, you actually get to pick what height you want to go to. So it's kind of nice if you've won and you're the last one. They're like, all right, where do you want to put the bar? And you can kind of choose. So, that's always fun.
Zooming out a little bit, I mean, you're a senior now, getting ready for indoor season in Indianapolis in a few days to kind of get it started. What are your favorite memories so far of your career? Just kind of like if
Yeah.
you look back and 3 years down and what you're looking forward to as a
Yeah.
senior.
There are some specific meets I do love going to. Specifically, I love our Nashville meet we always go to. That one's just so fun. I love the environment. Sadly, we're not going to that one this year, but we have every other year. That I've made some really fun memories there. And then just going, I remember we went to Wake Forest last year, and that was so fun. Afterwards, there was like this festival going on outside of the hotel. They had like the streets closed, and me and my teammates and my coach came, and we got cheesecake, and we went and just it was so fun. I think just like I love just like being with my teammates, being with my coaches, and hanging outside of practice. I think some of my just best memories are even just like watching my teammates cheering them on. I think love like when someone gets a PR or they do well, like just celebrating them. It's so fun to watch someone and just like celebrate them. It's just so fun. Another memory is I had a lot of fun at the MAC meet last year. That's a core memory. I had to have a jump off with a girl from Akron, and those are always really nerve wracking. But that was so fun. All my teammates were watching me and cheering, and we had to have a jump off for first place. Um, and that one was just a lot of fun. And it just went back. It went on for probably like 35 minutes because I'd clear it, then she'd clear it, and then we'd start over, and then like she'd miss, then I'd miss, and then we'd start over, and then we both clear it. That went on forever. But like the energy was just so high, everyone was cheering. So I just think like, I just have so many good memories. But just hanging out with my team and just getting to watch them perform and
I mean,
cheer them on.
at Max, you've had some success.
Mhm.
Those that don't know, you go at the end if you finish in the top 7, right? You go to the podium, you get a medal, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
We have a nice picture from one of our media days, right here, just one with you with a bunch of medals. Just
Yeah.
what's it like when you're on a podium and somebody's putting a medal on you? It's like
Yeah.
Star Wars when they blow up the Death Star and they get their medals.
Yeah. It is. It is a great feeling. I do have that awkward moment though where I'm like, am I supposed to grab it and put it on, or do they put? I never know. But yeah, my goal every time I go into a meet is to get top 3. That's always just my goal. But yeah, it's great.
We were doing a little research for this podcast and talking to one of your teammates, and she said that she will never forget getting to know you freshman year playing Two Truths and a Lie because your truths were like mind blowing to the point that no one would believe them.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to ask this. So I'm just going to say, like, one of them was that your house had a fire
Yeah.
before you came to Miami. Like, kind of what is the story with that?
The story is so it was my junior year of high school. And that night, my neighbors and my sister were going to the casino to celebrate my sister's 21st. I was hanging out with my cousin at her house, having a sleepover. My other sister was home, but she was just kind of in and out, going on drives, meeting up with friends, whatever. And I am in the Chick-fil-A drive-through line, and I get a text from my neighbor down the street who also, she had a house fire about a year and a half before that.
You might want to get your electricity checked or something.
She texts me, "Hey, are you okay down there?" And then I get a text from my sister's boyfriend at the time, and he's like, "Hey, are you okay?" And I'm like, "I'm great, about to get Chick-fil-A." And then I was like, I better call my sister, the one who's home. So I call her. She doesn't answer. And I'm like, okay. And so I was like, I'll call my mom. And so I call my mom, but my older sister answers. And she's a bit distraught on the phone, and she's like, our house got burnt down, whatever, and I'm just like, I don't know. I don't. My cousin is next to me, and she's like, "What? What is she saying?" But then I have to order my food.
Oh, of course.
So I'm
Priority.
crying, and I'm just like, "Can I have the 12-piece nugget and large fry?" And then my mom takes the phone from my sister, and she's like, "It's fine." Trying to calm me down. She's like, "Honestly, I would just go back to her name's Julia. I would go back to Julia's house." I was like, no, I want to see. So I drive to my house. It's only like 5 minutes away. And I live in a cul-de-sac. I can't even like pull into the cul-de-sac because there's just ambulance and police and cars just like lined up. So I park down the street and I walk down and I just, see the scene. And you don't realize how many people like chase there was all these just random people there
Bystanders, basically, like just to.
asking me like at reporters or like what happened. Like there's just like some crazy people trying to start fights, and it's like and I'm just like, who are you people? What are you doing? And so we ended up. It was a chemical combustion. Crazy. It started in me and my sister's bathroom, like underneath the sink. And there was just, I don't know, two products created a chemical reaction.
Unreal.
No one was home to stop it. But my sister, my middle sister, she got home and she walked in and saw the smoke and, the flames upstairs and everything. And she said, like, the smoke was so thick that she, like, couldn't even see her hand in front of her. And so we have a dog. So she ran up, grabbed the dog, got out of there. And then I think someone had already seen and called the fire department. But, yeah, and so everyone was okay, and we ended up being out of our house for about a year. We lived in a rental home for 6 months because they said it would be ready in 6 months, but it wasn't. So then I got to live with my cousin Julia for a few months, she actually goes to Miami too. But yeah, she's one of my best friends. So that was honestly fun getting to live with her. Kind of prepared me for college, having a roommate.
I think I read somewhere that Taylor Swift or you've been to her house or something. Is this a real thing?
It is real. Yeah, I'm a big Taylor Swift fan. And so basically she does these things called secret sessions. She doesn't do them anymore. Mine was actually the last one she ever did. But it was in 2017 in October. And so secret sessions she'll invite about 30 or so people to her home to listen to her album before it releases. So I got to listen to her Reputation album a month before it released. And she like hand selects people. And the embarrassing part of the story is that do you know Tumblr? It's the social media. No one uses it anymore. But me and my sister had a Tumblr fan account, Taylor Swift fan account. And it was pretty popular. And she had commented on our posts, like posted something, and she was like, haha, this is so funny. I woke the cats up laughing, And I remember my sister comes to my room. She's like, oh my gosh, Taylor Swift commented on our post, whatever. And so then it's like the next day or a day later, I was in 8th grade. So I took the bus home at that time. And my sisters text me and they're like, we're going to pick you up from school. We're getting ice cream. And I was like, oh, great. And I told my friends, like, I don't have to ride the bus. I'm getting ice cream. And I get into the car and I just remember they both like turn around and they're like, Emily, you can't tell anybody this. And I'm like, what? And they're like, Taylor Swift. Well, technically, so it's Taylor Nation. They are like her kind of managers, whatever. They're like, Taylor Nation DM'd us and said that Taylor Swift wanted to meet us, and asked if we could make it to Nashville in 2 days for her secret session. And
that's when you're like, no, I've got a middle school track meet. I don't think I can make it work.
My house is gonna
Well,
burn
that-
down.
that day, it's actually funny. I was supposed to get my teeth pulled. So I had already told my friends, oh, I won't be at school on Wednesday. I am getting my teeth pulled. And so it was kind of perfect because they already knew I wasn't going to be at school on Wednesday because this was on a Monday when I found out. And I was like, oh, perfect. They'll just think I'm at my dentist. But then my friend saw my location. She's like, why are you at Nashville for your dentist? I'm like, only the best. Had to get the best dentist. But you couldn't tell anyone where you were going. It was strictly you cannot say anything because they don't want people following you or this, just for safety reasons. If you're under 18, you have to bring an adult. And my sister was 17. And so luckily then she got to go. And so we were like, Mom, can you drive us to Nashville tonight? Then you had to like meet in this like secret location, and then they put you on buses, and
Like blindfolded or something.
well, I want to say I don't think we could see out the window or at a point, but I just on the bus right there, they give you like ground rules too. You have like a little meeting before, they take your phone, everything. But everyone on the bus is just so happy. We're all singing Taylor Swift. We're just happy to be there. And then we pull into her home and we see we actually saw her peeking out the window, and then the bus was pulling in and everyone was like, oh my gosh. And so then she had food for us. So we were in her backyard, like by the pool area, and this is technically her parents' house, but her parents have a dog named Kitty. And so it's like this great big dog, and I was just like petting her dog, which is like interesting. And then her parents came out while we were eating, and her parents are talking to us, and her dad is just passing out guitar picks to everyone. I have like 20 guitar picks. And we're talking to her parents, and we're just talking to all the other people, and we're eating food. So we were out there for, I don't know, 30, 45 minutes, just talking to each other, eating, and then we finally got to go inside. And you can actually, like, if you you can look up on YouTube, like, Reputation Secret Sessions, and she made a little YouTube video, and you can see, like, clips, but we are sitting in her, in this one room, and she comes in, and it's just so unreal. Like, I'm like, you're standing a few feet away from me. Is this, this is just insane. Like 2 days ago, I wasn't even planning on doing this. I was going to get my teeth pulled, and it's so much better. And so yeah, she comes in, and this one girl had like kind of a bit of like an anxiety attack thing, and she's like, hold on, wait, like, and she goes over to the girl, and she's like, you're Caitlin, right? And everyone just like lost their minds. They're like, how does she remember her name, And then she played her songs for us on the Reputation album. And I remember trying so hard to like remember them. But like by the end of it, I was like, I already forget the songs. And I was like, and then we had like a little dance party. She passed around her merch. And she just kind of explained each song. I'm just sitting, like, we're all just sitting there, and she's just in a chair. It is just so unreal. And then afterwards, you get 10 minutes, like, one-on-one with her to take a picture and just talk to her. Excuse me. And just talk to her. So we waited our turn, and then I remember she knew everyone's name. I walk in, and she's like, Emily, Katrina, I'm so glad you could make it last minute. And she's like, Katrina, I saw your homecoming photos with you and all your friends. You're so pretty.
That's awesome.
And she's like, Emily, I saw your gymnastics videos. You're so good. And I'm just trying like not to faint, you know. Like, how did she even see these? But she like knew a little fact about everyone, which I thought was super cool, and she knew everyone's names. And then I remember for my picture, she's like, "What do you want to do for our picture?" I held her Grammy, so I got to hold her Grammy in our picture. And then my sister sat at the piano with her, and we were actually lucky. So it's usually just one photo, one and done. But because my mom was there, she's like, "Let's do a group photo." So I actually got 2 photos.
I was gonna ask when the story started if you don't have your phones, do you get a picture or whatever? Because otherwise, this is one of those like
Yeah.
the story's so good that people wouldn't actually believe it
Right.
happened.
I remember coming to school after that the next day or I posting those online, and everyone's like, "Those are photoshopped." Her head's tilted the same in both photos.
AI wasn't around back then, right?
Thank gosh, because no one would have believed me. And so, yeah, that is pretty much my Taylor Swift story.
I don't know how I have more track questions, but I don't know how you can like switch gears after that.
My life is so boring. You know? Well,
So you have 3 meets in the next month or so
Yeah.
at the Indiana State Fairgrounds
Yeah.
area, right? Like you open up in Indianapolis, but you go back there a couple times.
hmm
So every week on the podcast, we like to play a game and pit our guest against Dave.
Yeah.
And I decided, since you're both from Northern Ohio originally, that we would do Indiana State Fair questions in honor of your trips to Indianapolis. That way,
All
nobody
right.
has an advantage. Does that make sense? Sound good?
sure.
Great. Okay, so we're gonna play over under, and basically all you have to do is we'll go back and forth because Dave gets really mad if he always has to go first,
Fair.
and guess the number that you think makes the most sense, whether a year or dollar amount or whatever, and then the other person just has to decide if they want to be above or below to be closer to the actual one. So nobody's supposed to get this for real,
Okay.
and we'll just
Just so you know, I'm on a 1-game win streak, so the pressure's on.
yeah, he's like 2-14.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
who wants to go first?
Ladies first.
Emily. When was the first Indiana State Fair held?
Oh. 1960.
That's got to be earlier than that, right?
1852.
Oh.
Oh, 1-0.
Wow.
Point for Dave.
We're playing to 2.
Okay.
So I was surprised you didn't say 1. How many times has the Indiana State Fair been held at the fairgrounds in Indianapolis?
120 years.
More or less than 120 times?
More.
115.
Oh.
But it says more than, so I almost want to call that a tie. I don't know.
Nope,
but-
2-0.
How many days away is the next Indiana State Fair from when this podcast will come out?
4.
More or less than 4?
4 days? Is it really that close? It's got to be later.
210 because it's
Oh.
in the summer.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
We talked about merch with Taylor, so we'll do fair merch. How much was the most expensive T-shirt on the fair website cost if you wanted to order? Not like a special limited edition, just you want to go buy a fair shirt online. How much does a T-shirt cost?
I was going to say $67 just to be funny, but how about 54?
Less or more than $54 for the fair T-shirt?
Less.
28.
Oh, that's a good deal.
How much does daily admission cost at the Indiana State Fair?
15.
More or less?
Less.
16.
Oh, that was a good guess.
Yeah. The Indiana State Fair Queen visits 50 counties over June and July to promote the fair. Approximately how many miles would she travel to do that?
I have no idea.
That's why we're playing this game.
600.
More or less than 600 miles.
Less.
Approximately 10,000.
Oh.
How many pounds was the 2025 giant pumpkin at the Indiana State Fair?
250.
More or less than 250 pounds for the giant pumpkin.
It's a giant pumpkin, so it's got to be more.
1,323 pounds.
Wow.
That's crazy.
1,000-pound pumpkin?
No, 1,323.
Oh, my bad.
What year did the Beatles perform at the Indiana State Fair?
1967.
Before or after 1967?
Before.
1964.
What's the score over here?
5-3.
How many are we
So
done yet? Or
maybe
are we
2
done?
questions left.
All right, fine.
Your turn to go first, I think. 2025 marked the 19th annual Grand Cheese Sculpture at the fair. How many pounds of cheese were used in the cheese sculpture?
800.
More or less than an 800-pound cheese sculpture?
More.
1,600.
That's a lot of cheese.
Yeah.
And then how many hours of work did it take the sculptor and her team to fashion that sculpture?
How many hours?
The 1,600-pound sculpture.
Yeah, let's go 120.
More or less than 120 hours work.
More.
285. There you go. You now know. So when
Cheese sculpture.
just think that next few weeks when you go to the Indiana State Fairgrounds and you can like tell your teammates like you know,
Yeah.
oh, the cheese sculpture, like I know all about that. You'll know all the trivia.
Yeah.
I have no idea how he comes up with these questions.
Yeah.
We're digging into the
Yeah.
you know, bottom barrel. Last one though, kind of like to end with something serious.
Okay.
So, putting the cheese and pumpkins aside, you're going into your senior seasons, indoor outdoor. If you could go back and tell freshman you something, give a piece of advice or whatever it is, coming into Miami,
Yeah.
not knowing kind of what was in front of you, what would you tell you?
I would tell myself, this sounds kind of just like simple, but just to like have fun with it. I think, a lot of the times when you've been doing a sport for a while or things like that, I feel like, you forget like this is supposed to add to my enjoyment, not drain it. So I would just say like have fun with it, enjoy it, don't take it so seriously. 'Cause, I think you not only will have more fun, but you just perform better. I found that I perform better whenever I just enjoy it, and I would just tell her, to just not take it so seriously and just have fun with it.
All right, Emily, I think that's all we got. Unless you have a Taylor Swift autograph you can give me, we can get you out of here.
If you did, you know that he would put it on eBay, so you would not. I would tell you.
That's
please,
at home.
please don't do that.
Bring that with me.
Thanks for being here. We will be back next week with another new edition of Red Hawk Rewind.